All right, y'all, welcome to the first weekly recap of the 2025 season for the Toronto Blue Jays. If you're an OG of the YouTube channel, you remember this is the very first thing I uploaded and I'm bringing it back. I'm planning to do this the whole year, but if you don't know what they are, let me give you a rundown a little bit. So first, we break down all the games of the week, and since it's only been one series so far, I'm just going to break down the opening series against the Orioles. Then we talk about each individual starting pitcher, which is my favorite part, and then we added this new thing where we're going to hand out weekly awards, and then we're going to talk about the good and bad, what happened in the week. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here on opening day, and we get the walkouts, we get the entrances, everything's fire. Kevin Kiermaier throwing out the first pitch. This is about to be a fire game. You know it's going to be a fire game when you got the opening day starter, Jose Berrios, on the mound, ready to go. If he's ready. Reason I say if is because two batters into the game, this happens.
13 for 22 against Berrios with 3 home runs.
A high towering drive to right. That's where he is. He's in the bullpen.
A solo home run to start the game, but that's all right. It's only the first inning, and surely he's going to lock in.
Right now, here's the center fielder, Cedric Mullins.
And a little bouncing ball snared to first by Guerrero.
He does lock in, gets the ground ball, but fails to cover first in time. It's 2-0 Orioles, and that's not a good start to the ballgame. But then he locks in the second inning, and now in the third inning, this happens.
Weightlifters of all time here.
O'Neill drives one the other way. That's headed out toward right field. He's done it again.
That's right. He gives up another home run, and I'd say don't worry, but please keep worrying because then this happens.
Has had an infield hit to drive in a run, and Mullins tattoos it. Home run number 3.
Orioles have 3 home runs, 6-0, but Andres Gimenez wants to put a stop to the bleeding.
Gimenez had a great offensive season in 2022. Fly ball to right field. It's hit pretty well, and it is gone.
Andres Gimenez tattoos it for his first homer of the season, but now Chad Green's on the mound, so yeah.
Cedric Mullins at the plate.
And Mullins puts one up in the air to right field. It's well ahead. It's gone.
Shocker, the Orioles hit another home run. It's 9-2, and I bet you wouldn't guess what happens next.
With Holiday on first.
Oh my goodness. Adley Rutschman making a double.
If you guessed home run, you are correct. And please guess it again because it is also the answer to the next question.
His third career multi-homer game, Adley. Jordan Westburg leans into one. Left center, pretty deep. Oh, it's another.
It is indeed another home run. The Orioles hit 6 home runs on our heads, and then we're down to our final out.
George Springer is the batter.
George Springer. Down he goes on the chance.
George strikes out for what is a non-memorable first game of the season, but we're looking to bounce back. And we would look to bounce back at home again in Game 2 against Baltimore. Hopefully this one goes a lot better. And the man who would look to make it all go better, Kevin Gausman, takes the bump today. And I'm not going to lie, this is the most excited I've been for a pitcher. And everything goes great. Nothing of importance for the first 2 innings until in the 3rd inning when this happens.
Let it go. I like it. We'll see what happens.
Holiday in the air to center field and deep. Lucas is back. He's turning around, and that baby's gone.
And that baby is indeed gone. At this point, I'm worried shitless because we've given up too many home runs, except they found a different way to score.
With his parents looking on.
High fly ball from O'Neill. Tagging from third is Rutschman.
Orioles get a successful sac fly to make it 2-0, but now with the bases loaded, the Blue Jays look to do some damage.
The Blue Jays. Lukes draws a walk.
Nathan Lucas draws a walk. W. Nathan Lucas, but don't worry, there's more than where that came from.
Toronto with a chance to take the lead. Makes the catch. Tagging from third, Springer.
The next Blue Jay star, Alan Roden, gets a successful sac fly. It's all tied up at 2, and the Orioles bring in a new pitcher.
For the Orioles, the veteran skips the first pitch. It gets to the backstop, and the Blue Jays have the lead.
The new Orioles pitcher throws a wild pitch, and Charlie Morton's in the dugout like, well, shit, I could have done that. But now it's 3-2 Blue Jays, and there's more of where that came from.
Now Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a mile high Mullins in center.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. understands the assignment, gets the sac fly, 4-2 Blue Jays. But then something crazy happens.
Suarez with a 1-2 to Santander. High chopper into right field for a base hit.
Brandon, it's a normal base hit. How is it crazy? Wrong. Throw goes to the cutoff man. Cutoff man tries to get Santander at first, goes into the dugout, and Bo Bichette is awarded home 5-2 Blue Jays. They erupt for 5 runs in the inning, and they're not done.
With 1 out and Lucas 90 feet away.
Up the middle, base hit for Bichette.
Bo Bichette stays as cool as a freaking cucumber, gets a single, and brings home Nathan Lucas. It's 6-2 Blue Jays, but Ernie Clement off the bench wants the action.
It's going to be Ernie Clement to left field, tailing towards the line, and it stays fair.
Legend has it that to this day, MLB is still investigating how Ernie Clement hit that baseball, especially down the line as far as he did 8-2 Blue Jays, and now the Orioles are down to their final out.
The Orioles down to their final out. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Nick Sandlin gets the last Orioles hitter as the Blue Jays win a much-needed Game 2 by a score of 8-2. But now the day we've all waited for. Saturday's game is the debut of Max Scherzer in a Blue Jays uniform, the Hall of Famer, the first ballot, and this is how he starts the game.
Right thumb is today. That's been an issue lingering through the last couple of years. Colton Cowser drives his 1-0 pitch deep to center field, and that ball is off the batter's eye and gone.
Second pitch into the game, it's gone, but he's a Hall of Famer. He's going to lock in, right?
Into the wind.
0-1 offering. And that is clubbed out to deep left center field. This one is headed a long way. It is up, and gone.
Wrong. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, how many home runs can you let up in a series until I remember that the Yankees hit 9 home runs on the Brewers' head? But now it's time for another newly acquired Blue Jay, Anthony Santander, to show us what he can do.
Here, 2-2 again. Swing and a liner. Right field. Down for a base hit.
Anthony drops his single into right field, brings home Bo Bichette, but the Blue Jays aren't done yet.
Alejandro Kirk at the plate. It's a fly ball to right center field. Medium depth. Guerrero tagging at third.
Captain Kirk shout out the extension, hits a sac fly, all tied up at 2, and now Andres Gimenez is back at the plate.
0-1. Swing and a drive. Deep right center field. Kjerstad sprinting back, looking up. See you later.
I don't even know who the heck this guy is anymore. Andres Gimenez hits his second homer of the season and puts the Blue Jays up 2. But now the Orioles may be back in business.
Because of the injury to Scherzer.
Sanchez high in the air to right field. Santander comes barreling in. He'll throw to the plate. It's going to be well offline.
The base is loaded. The Blue Jays are lucky to only give up a sac fly. But unfortunately, they gave up more than that.
At a 295 against left-handed pitching last year.
Urias drives one to right. Santander can't get to it.
That is indeed right. Santander cannot get to it. Over his head, it's now 6-4 Orioles. What the heck? And for some reason, they still feel like they need to score runs.
2-1. That is cracked out to the gap in right center field. That'll get down.
So that is exactly what they do. They hit a single. It's now 7-4, but they're still not done.
In there for his first stolen base of the year.
There's a ball hit in the air. Fairly deep left center field. This should be deep enough.
It is indeed deep enough, and thankfully, I can say this is the last run they score of the game, and now it's the Blue Jays' turn.
Potentially in this inning. Swing and a ground ball to short. Coming home, Lucas.
Guerrero does get out, but he brings home the run from third. It's now 8-5, and Chad Green's back on the mound.
Chad Green still on the hill.
Westberg hits this in the air to center field. Lucas is back. It's hit deep. He's at the wall. He leaps, and it is gone. A home run for Westberg.
Remember when I said earlier that was the last run they scored? It's because today's April 1st. Happy April Fools, and it's 9-5 Orioles. And then Andres Gimenez is the last hope for the Jays.
1-2 coming. Got him swinging.
The Blue Jays lose 9-5. Much more competitive loss this time, though, and we look for the series split in Game 4. So here we go. Game 4, Blue Jays looking for the series split, and what better way to do it than have Chris throw the series split game winner. But unfortunately, this game would not start in the favor of the Blue Jays.
Pretty aggressive base running there, Jeff.
That one skips away from Heineman.
Heineman fails to corral the wild pitch, and it's a 1-0 early lead for the Orioles. But that's okay, because George Springer's got us.
And the batter is George Springer. Springer lines one to right center, and it's down for a base hit.
George Springer drives in 2 with a 2 RBI single, and sadly, nothing of importance would happen until the 7th inning, but it would all be worth it when this happened.
Blue Jays, Tyler Heineman leads off.
Heineman gets into one. Fires it to left, and it's gone.
Tyler Heineman hits his second major league home run of his career, first since 2019, and that bat flip is going up in a frame on my wall. Now in the 9th inning, Jeff Hoffman, the new closer, would look to finish the job.
Right, when he slid into first base. And he got him.
Jeff Hoffman shuts the door and completes the Blue Jays series split over the Orioles, and they tie the series 2 apiece. Alright, now it's time for my personal favorite segment where we break down the starting pitchers from each of the games, and first we got the worst out of all of them. Unfortunately, Jose Barrios did not do good. Okay, in his game, he threw 5 innings, gave up 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 of them being on home runs, 2 walks, and struck out 5. So the strikeouts were there, but everything else was not. Overall, not a good game from Jose Barrios, but hopefully he's pitching tonight. Maybe he can bounce back. He probably will. Next pitcher we got is Kevin Gausman, who pitched game 2 of the series. This outing much better than Jose Barrios. Went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 of them being on a home run, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. So he didn't get that many outs on a strikeout, but he did give up less home runs, and he was more efficient because, well, he only gave up 2 runs. Alright, the next pitcher we got is the man himself, Max Scherzer, and unfortunately, he did get injured again on this start. Something with his lat. He said it is 100% a problem with his thumb and has been placed on the 15-day injured list. Hopefully, he gets better soon, but this outing, he only went 3 innings, giving up 2 home runs, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, and 1 strikeout. No walks. Overall, the innings were pretty good, but he only went 3 innings with 2 home runs. So, actually, I don't even know if they were good. Alright, the final pitcher we got is Chris Bassitt, and I'm also doing this new thing where I give out awards, and the first award I'm giving out is Pitcher of the Week, and it is also going to Chris Bassitt, okay? In this game, he went 6 innings, giving up 8 hits, but only 1 earned run on 2 walks and 7 Ks. The dog on the hound was going at it, and he wins this week's Pitcher of the Week. Continuing on the theme of awards, I thought it was only fair to separate the starters and relievers. So this week's Reliever of the Week award goes to Jeff Hoffman, who went 2 innings with 1 hit and 3 strikeouts throughout the week. Fantastic appearances from Jeff Hoffman, including a save against the Orioles in the final matchup, and he wins this week's Reliever of the Week award. And now, without further ado, here is your Defensive Play of the Week.
Lucas charging in, diving is Rodin, and he made the catch. The rookie Alan Rodin picked up his first big league hit.
Look at Rodin, man, a rookie taking the award away from Springer and Will Wagner. That's deserving. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and now the moment you've all been waiting for. This week's Player of the Week goes to Andres Gimenez, who stole it from Bo Bichette. I thought Bo Bichette was going to win it, but Andres Gimenez ended up taking it home. Here are his stats. He hit .250 with a 1.021 OPS, 4 RBIs, and 2 home runs. I was not aware of this man's power. He now has 7 RBIs with 3 home runs. He be going crazy, and he wins this week's Player of the Week award. Also, let me know if I should add more awards or take away awards. This is the first time I'm doing this. Let me know. Alright, now let's get into where we break down the good and the bad of the Blue Jays week. And we have to start off with the bad because it is really obvious that we need to cut down the home runs. Okay, the Blue Jays in this series let up 10 home runs in 4 games. Okay, that pitching staff is incredibly not worthy of anything at the moment. Okay, 10 home runs in 4 games is diabolical unless you're talking to Nestor Cortez and the Yankees. Okay, then that's a whole different story, but this story is different. 6 home runs in 1 day is diabolical. Okay, this cannot be happening. We need to fix this. Sticking with the bad, we need to talk about this Blue Jays bullpen because through the first at least 3 games of this series, it was looking like 2024 all over again, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Yariel Rodriguez locked in as a 1 inning type of pitcher, but more than that, he sucks. Okay, Richard Lovelady, we recently just DFA'd because of how crap he was during his performance. Jacob Barnes cannot pitch. Nick Sandlin let up 3 walks in a row, but they weren't strikes. But we got to fix this issue. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the good because I'm tired of talking about the bad. All right, the first good thing was this Blue Jays defense. Okay, coming off the 3rd consecutive team Gold Glove and multiple solo Gold Glove winners, we are locked in. Okay, this defense was crazy. Bo Bichette, Alan Roden, George Springer, Will Wagner. We were all over the place. Okay, let's freaking go. The last good thing I want to talk about before we end today's video is the fact that we capitalized with runners in scoring position. I'm not sure how many opportunities we had, but we capitalized on at least 9 of the opportunities, and that feels like a pretty big number to me. So let's freaking go. Alright, y'all, that's going to do it for this week's weekly recap of the Toronto Blue Jays. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you remember them, I hope that this version is better than the one I had like a year ago last season until I stopped doing them. But now I'm not going to stop doing them. I'm planning on doing them the whole year, so if y'all are locked in, make sure to like, subscribe. But other than that, it's been me, Brandon. I break down the Blue Jays, and I'll see you next time. Peace.